Hey everyone, it's Luke from Solarhood. On today's story from the Solarhood, we're going to talk with Andy, who's been in the solar installation for quite some time, and really just pick his brain. So let's go check it out. Hey everyone, it's Luke here from Solarhood, and today on today's story from Solarhood, we're going to talk with Andy about his experience in the solar installation business. He's been working it in that sector for a long time, and we just really wanted to pick your brain. So thanks for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So how'd you get your start in solar?
Well, I was building homes and putting solar on them with no idea how it all worked, and was curious.
So you wanted to dive into that technology.
And I dove in and went to school to study electricity, and also went to Solar Energy International in Paonia, Colorado.
Yeah, cool.
And did any education I could get my hands on.
Yeah, dove in.
Yeah.
And then, so that you started in New Mexico, and now you're working in Kansas City, and you've been here for a while.
Yeah.
I guess, how do the markets kind of compare? How are you seeing Kansas City? Kansas City's market sounds like it was, booming, and now it's kind of starting to level out a little bit.
Yeah, and that was to be expected.
Yeah.
As the rebate dwindled away from Kansas City Power and Light, we inevitably saw kind of a reduction.
A little bit of a drop off.
Yeah, pretty steep drop off. But I think that was necessary. I think the quality of installations has gone up.
Yeah,
and
cool.
the kind of get rich quick.
Because you're working in it, right?
Yeah. But there's not just people just throwing panels on anything just to try to get a rebate. So
sure.
So
it's kind of good in some ways.
Yeah. I think the expiration of the rebate is actually a good thing.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I wanted to transition a little bit, geek out a little bit on the technology side since you work in this field, and I've worked in it for a while. What technologies do you kind of see on the horizon for solar? Battery storage?
I think that like the storage component is going to be huge, and it's really exciting. The utilities are reluctant to add more solar to their portfolio because if a cloud passes by, there's some variability there, and so they want to
analyze that way too much.
Right?
To tell you the truth.
Well, so then you understand that. Yeah. So like the need for a small residential installation to maintain that same
output
feeding into the grid can be
good for the grid.
Yeah, it can be awesome for the grid, and it can help stabilize the grid if there's some storage components. So that plus electric vehicles, it's really an exciting time as
vehicle to grid.
Very
advanced.
Yeah, so it's sort of stepping away from just panels on roofs and discussing more about storage and some of the new technologies.
Right, and there's been a lot of announcements recently on new advancements in panels and battery storage and electric vehicles, and it's kind of just cool to see all this come together.
It is.
Cool. I guess we kind of touched on this, but we like to ask everyone this. How do you see the future of solar here in the community and really nationwide?
Yeah.
Do you kind of see it becoming more mainstream? Are we on the cusp of something like that? I guess what's your take on that?
I think that we're going to see more consistent and steady growth, and we're going to see less of this kind of boomtown capricious stuff.
Up and down.
Yeah, so I think it's strong. I think that there is never a better time to move in the direction of the solar industry.
Cool.
I think that we have to look to some of the more mature markets in Germany and Japan to kind of see what has worked in the past. But things like energy monitoring, electric vehicles will all dovetail nicely with the solar.
Right.
Yeah.
It's becoming an interesting industry for sure. Exciting. Well, I guess this is all awesome. The last thing that I wanted to ask you is if there was one thing that you wanted to share with somebody out there that's thinking of going solar, what would that be?
Well,
one nugget that you have to
one nugget. Maybe I'll have to split that nugget into two.
Okay, so two things.
And the first would be to seriously consider coinciding a solar installation with getting a new roof.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Yeah, and that's just a real practical thing to do. It's not that hard to take the panels back off and the feet, but it's just makes more sense to do it at the same time.
Yep. Thinking ahead a little bit.
But not necessary, but helpful. And the second would be to take an energy audit of your home and see how much energy you can save just by stopping vampire loads and being more diligent about turning off the lights.
Yeah, little things to cut down your load.
Yeah. And oftentimes you can reduce the overall system size and therefore the cost by quite a bit if you are not trying to compensate for excessive usage, which we're so good at here in the United States.
Right.
We're just...
It's always a good thing to do. Right?
Yeah. So I think efficiency and recognizing that someday you very well might have an electric vehicle in your garage, and how would you like to power that? So we need to look
maybe a little
for the future.
oversized then. Maybe a little bit for that future electric vehicle.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's a brave new world for sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Well, awesome. Well, that's all I had for you today. I appreciate you sharing some thoughts with us.
No sweat.
For coming by.
Yeah.
And thank you for stopping by. For all of you guys that thought this was interesting, liked Andy's perspective and his experience, tag a friend out there on Facebook or Twitter. Share it with someone that you think would benefit from this conversation, because I certainly did and enjoyed it a lot. So that's all we have for today. We'll see you next time.